webinar.
Good evening. Thank you for joining our Eastern Area Links Green Table Talk. Please note that if you are dialing in via audio only, questions will be answered by raising your hand, and via audio, you will need to dial *9 to indicate raising your hand. We will proceed with a presentation, and then following that, we will have a question and answer period, and we're asking that you hold your questions until that time. We'll have plenty of time to receive your questions. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. All right, begin with the first slide, please.
Good evening. I am delighted to welcome so many of you to our Green Table Talk this evening. I've been made aware that we are joined by many of our sisters from the Eastern area and all across LinkedIn. I am thrilled to see friends from the Pan-Hellenic Council have joined us, as well as family members, some of our partnering organizations, and colleagues. Again, it is my pleasure to welcome you all this evening to our Green Table. I am Dr. Shwana Tucker Sims, Eastern Area Director of the Links Incorporated. As February is known as Black History Month, we found it befitting to launch our Education Across the Miles Linking with West Africa initiative at a time historically set aside to celebrate Black history, our history. Eastern Area Education Across the Miles Linking with West Africa seeks to uphold global equity and provide resources to students in need at our 2 adopted schools, which you will learn more about shortly. While the need is great, we feel blessed to be in the position to provide education across the miles, and in doing so, we are breaking at least one link in the systematic chain of racial oppression. Our mission is simple but ambitious. We will provide STEM education and opportunities to our students across the miles in Monrovia, Liberia, and in doing so, we hope to enable them to dream bigger and reach further, thereby making a sustainable difference for generations to come. Our featured guest this evening is none other than our 11th National President of the Links Incorporated, Patricia Russell McLeod, Esquire, who will intimately share her experiences and interactions with Monrovia, Liberia, and the students at our partnering schools, Monrovia College and AME University. You will hear from her very soon. I would now like to introduce 2 of our Eastern Area leadership team members who have made this evening's Green Table Talk possible. First, I acknowledge and thank Aurelia Williams, our Eastern Area Technology Chair, who has enabled the technology for us to collaborate across the miles and receive your questions during this evening's engagement. Secondly, I acknowledge and thank our Eastern Area Program Chair, Rhonda Starks Crowder, who has worked diligently with our Eastern Area International Trends and Services Chairs, their committee, and all stakeholders to make the seemingly impossible possible. I now pass the mic to Madam Program Chair.
Thank you, Madam Director. As mentioned, I am Rhonda Starks Crowder, and I'm currently serving as Chair of the Eastern Area Programs of the Links Incorporated. The Green Table. The Green Table is our forum where we come together to discuss topics of interest and concern to communities of color. We all benefit from these forums, and so if you would like for us to consider a special topic, we encourage you to reach out to us at ealinksprogram@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We're seated at the Green Table this evening to address a matter of global concern, and that is the failure to provide equal access to the kinds of science, technology, engineering, and math classes, commonly known as STEM, to prepare students to compete and exceed in a global economy. Here in the U.S., our sisters are leading the charge with our National STEM Initiative with such partnerships as NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, and here in the East, we're working with Black Girls Code. However, in some of the far corners of the world, such as West Africa and Liberia specifically, the barometer has not moved. The playing field has not been leveled. In fact, there is no playing field. It's time for us to assemble at the green table and talk about it. This evening, we present Education Across the Miles, linking with West Africa. We are fortunate to have our 11th National President, Pat Russell McLeod, joining us this evening to help us understand exactly what is happening in Liberia and what is at stake for our students. We're in for a real experience, and I know you, like me, can hardly wait. But first, please allow me to introduce this evening's moderator, Dr. Cynthia Jacobs Carter. Next slide, please. Dr. Jacobs Carter is a Senior Advancement Officer at the Smithsonian's Institute of National Museum of African American History and Culture, where she leads the museum's gift planning efforts. These efforts include heading the Harriet Tubman Legacy Society and helping to build an endowment of the newest museum. Before joining the staff there, Dr. Carter served at the Smithsonian as Chief Development Officer in the Center for Folk Life and Cultural Heritage. Prior to that, she was the Chief Development External Affairs Officer at Africare. Dr. Jacobs Carter has taught at Georgetown University and the George Washington University, both in Africana Woman Studies. She is a National Geographic author of 2 books, Africana Woman, Her Story Through Time, and Freedom in My Heart, Voices from the United States National Slavery Museum, and which was nominated for an NAACP Image Award for Best Literary Work in 2010. Dr. Jacobs Carter earned a Doctor of Education degree in Educational Leadership and a Master of Arts degree in International Education from the George Washington University. Her undergraduate degree is from HBCU VSU, and I am so proud to call Dr. Jacobs Carter an integral member of my team, where she serves as the Eastern Area Chair of the International Trends and Services Facet, while representing the Old Dominion, Virginia chapter of the Links Incorporated. This evening, she takes her rightful place at the green table as our moderator. Please welcome Dr. Cynthia Jacobs Carter.
And thank you so very much for welcoming me. Thanks to each and every one of you for taking your place at the green table. We're going to have quite a lively and an informative discussion tonight, and we just can't wait to get started. Thank you for joining us again, and by the time we're done with this green table discussion, I think we will have some great things in store for our wonderful students in Liberia. So I would like to also thank the others who are a part of the table setting today, those who are sitting with us. And in particular, we have the great good fortune to have with us, as you've heard, President Patricia Russell McLeod, Esquire. You may know of her, but let me tell you a couple of things that perhaps you don't know. President Russell McLeod really has worked for more than 30 years on the lecture circuit. She is categorized as one of the nation's best in her field. Her speaking and her style of engaging is highly substantive and well researched. I know this for sure because I've had the great pleasure of having a chance to observe her at some programming that we did in Northern Virginia. And everyone loved every second of it and learned so much. With each presentation that she does, she demonstrates that she is the master of her craft. And you will see that by the time we move forward to this evening. Each year, she speaks to more than 100,000 people in private and in public settings. So we are in for quite a treat tonight. I see why there's so many of our friends and sisters who have joined us tonight. With all that she is going to bring to us, you might know that we're in good company with other companies, organizations. For example, She has spoken with and done work with AARP, with AT&T, with Women's Food Service Forum, with General Motors, American Honda, Cox, Colgate, Palmolive. I could go on and on. General Electric, McDonald's, Northrop Grumman. We could say Xerox, Procter and Gamble, and these are only a few. So I wanted you to have a really great feel for what we're in for tonight, really, at this beautiful green table. I would like for you to know that she has received many honors, including being representative of 300 keys to American cities. She's been presented with those, and she has served, as you've heard, as the 11th national president of the Links Incorporated. There is so much more I could tell you, like she's been in Ebony, she's been in Essence, but I want to tell you that you will find out for yourself in a very few minutes exactly what a wonderful speaker and such a heartfelt individual she is. We just love her truly, and so does her hometown of Atlanta, Georgia, where she is currently living, and she is married to Bishop E. Earl McLeod, who is the 127th elected and consecrated bishop of the African Methodist Episcopal Church. Without further ado, I would like to present Madam President.
Thank you so much, Link Carter. Good evening, my Link sisters, friends, and supporters. I am awestruck by this special opportunity to join you at the Green Table. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to talk intentionally about education across the miles, to reach beyond our grasp, and to celebrate the capable leadership of Link Shawana Tucker Sims, our visionary, compassionate, and caring Eastern Area Director. I'm thrilled to be one in the number who celebrates the work of the around the clock innovative program director, shoulder to the wheel, Link Rhonda Starks Crowder, and our international trends and services facet chair, the experienced and wise Dr. Cynthia Jacobs Carter, uh, whose diverse professionalism and familiarity with all that we are considering moves us forward. So, to all on the call, I am enamored with the opportunity to express a plea, a petition, a vision possible for students across the miles. Where? It's West Africa. Where? It's Monrovia, Liberia. It's a distant and difficult location. It's a Monrovia College, a 225 person high school that is a feeder school through the 10th, 11th, and 12th grades into the African Methodist Episcopal Church's 14th Episcopal District's AME University. It is a large university. It has 5,000 plus students, and commencement was last June. I was, as a speaker, invited to do that keynote, and we graduated 553 students. So it's a church school. It's African Methodist Episcopal, and presiding bishop is Bishop E. Earl McLeod Jr., also known as my spouse, hello. And he is uh, serving there over
the quadrennial of 2016 to July 2020. And in the AME connection, the spouse is the supervisor. That's the title, and that means the person who administers programmatic engagement for women and children. And in the instant case, it would be yours truly, Pat Russell McLeod. So, truth serum. Let's look at Liberia. Liberia is woefully underdeveloped, and the country is devastated still yet from the 1989 through 1996 civil war. The country is dependent, and due to civil war and mismanagement top down, the country relies heavily upon foreign assistance. Liberia has 54% of its population that's under the poverty line, and the people live on the average of less than $2 American a day. So then, what about the children? What about the children? And if the situation in Monrovia is dire, then tell me, what has the church done? It's a decent question. What did the AMEs do? Well, let's look at the 14th Episcopal District. It includes Nigeria, Liberia, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, and Togo Benin. So each country has its own set of choices, challenges, projects, initiatives. Why then are we focused on Monrovia College? Because there are students, scholars, would be, could be empowered, improved, enriched. Have you seen them? They are the children. They're wide eyed and eager and anxious and ambivalent. They are children who are too often made pawns based upon the economy and the variables of the government, that without voice or vote, they are marginalized, overlooked, and underestimated. So, what shall we do about the children who mistakenly are classified as those who desire and yet deserve to be engaged actively in global competition and competitive advantage, so that they too can maximize their potential and move from test to testimony, because they've had the opportunity to be and become their best selves? The children, they're bright, they're capable, they're focused, they are eager to learn. They want to house a mind that knows more. So I'm reminded that Nelson Mandela, which my husband and I quote often, this key slide: for Africans, Nelson Mandela said, it was not lack of ability that limited my people, but lack of opportunity. It was that these are they who must take little to do much, to have the experience and the exposure. Look, the view from the classroom in Monrovia College. You sit in Monrovia College and you look out the window of would and could be a STEM lab, and this is what you see. You see a population over 1 million persons, poverty that is extraordinary. You see persons going up and down the streets with everything from bread to tires for your car. At every stoplight, you can have a convenience store experience. So I want you to imagine with me. Imagine a boy or girl who wakes up at home in Tinker Village. Tinker Village is about 30 minutes from Monrovia College. They make their way to school. They walk. They catch a kumbi. A kumbi is like a little shuttle with over 15, 16, 18 people squares up in the vehicle. It's a crowded bus, and you have to change twice to get to Monrovia College, and then you transfer. And it might cost you an American quarter to get from Tinker Village to the school. But they're eager to go. They want to listen and learn and compete. They want the rigor of science and technology and engineering and mathematics. It's welcoming to these students because they're hungry, thirsty for knowledge. They only want to learn the lessons. They want to test the theories. They want to explore the formulas. But there's an impediment. Wait, there's a red light. There's a detour. The students are cut off. They are in a vacuum and they don't have a STEM lab. They have a desire to learn, but they don't have modular student stations. They don't have large tables. They would collaborate and inform each other. They would have study groups around the table. They would test and come up with their formulas and calculations if they had equipment. They have books that are dated, and there are often look at the pictures. I saw these students. I saw them on June the 20th last year. I went and I'd asked them, what would it mean if you had the devices? What would it mean if you had the equipment? They said, Mother McLeod, it would make all the difference if we could test, if we had a microscope, if we had a petri dish, if we had a way to test our formula. Now, have other links heard the call? Yes. 10 new Levino notebooks were donated by Western area of Links. 20 refurbished computers are on site, donated by the Durham chapter of the Links. But the power grid in the present building is insufficient for the technology to challenge effectively and efficiently. Thus, consideration is actively going forward for a new building, a new location for technological performance. Oh, there are no microscopes, test tubes, magnifying glasses, rulers, scales, and in-depth exploration for testing. And the list is endless. My time is not, so I will just say, etc., etc. We need it all. What? Plastic bottles and caps and rubber bands and pipe cleaners and battery operated tea lights or glow lights, and we need composition notebooks for scientific journaling, and the list is endless, because then we come beyond the basics that respond to the core equipment of the cutting edge and the signature of the Eastern Area Partnership. So, as Links, we're focused upon what's possible. Look to your left, the typical study hall in Monrovia College compared to a typical study hall in the US of A. Consider what's at stake. There is a reason you keep hearing about the power of educating girls in the developing world. That reason is very clear because it works. I'm a telecommunications lawyer, and all of you know that importance of code, of elevated thinking, the rigor of science and engineering and mathematics. What's at stake, you ask? Well, African children would be scientific scholars if they had the opportunity that Nelson Mandela talked about. We're actively engaged in seeking critical thinking and problem solving and collaborative work, medical maladies, and a cure. To move for a cure for cancer, think about it, to coronavirus, a cure. Moving from no answers to tested answers and theories and formulas and solutions. It's that human calculus that keeps that clarion call, like Maya Angelou reminded us, and still like dust I'll rise. What's at stake? Children in the motherland who have no help and no hope. The popularity of the leadership of America suggests that immigrants need to get back, stay back, don't come to our borders, build a wall, keep them out. What's at stake? Children in the motherland looked over and left out, no care, no concern. the timely energy and effort and the talent, the networks of influence that are ensured by people of our class, character, and concern. Medical discoveries are personal for most of us. Why? Because all of us have lost somebody. All of us know that earlier testing is better, doable solutions and discoveries better, valid bodies of work that reveals proven theories and formulas and diagnoses and prognoses and prescriptions and treatments and cures. It begins where? In the classroom. So what's at stake? It begins with the curious mind of a student that connects with housing that mind. Knowledge is power, and information is a positive response to a negative threat. It's understanding the teacher. It begins with that seed that's planted. And it's the connectivity that comes with the hope and the promise of purpose. The purpose to have a STEM lab in West Africa, to be inextricably attached to community, competitive advantage, and global readiness. So, as a link, I am proud. Why? I'm proud because I've been a link for 44 years. I'm proud because international trends and services is being held up, illuminated, shining from the east. What am I saying? I'm saying that it's more than a checklist. The eastern area has given me new energy. It's more than a checklist that says we're going to have satisfaction for this facet through an international T. We are going to do more for international trends and services organizationally than to have a world food testing on a Saturday afternoon. We're going to do more than have a themed gala and we're all going to wear African attire. This says that we are going to invest in human capital, that we are going to invest in intellectual capacity and students who will maximize their scientific rigor because of what you do. We won't talk about it. Eastern area will be about it. Thus, my dear Sister Link friends and supporters, it's life threatening and life saving if we fail to do more than check the boxes. If we fail to know that it's on us, not on others, to change the world, to shift the paradigm, to come outside of our Western comfort zones, that status quo. It's the Eastern area that's going to plight the progress and the prominence of the possible. You've shown me your capability statement. You've shown me your compassion for others, your servant leadership to put children first, students first. I'm reminded several years ago I was in Opelousas, Louisiana. And the rains were torrential, and the climate was inclement, and we could barely see out the window. But in the ballroom, it was packed to the rafters. I was the keynote, and the mayor of New Orleans was on the way. But the pilot was delayed because the weather was so bad. The torrential rains were severe. But then, fast Eddie, the mayor, arrived 2 hours late, and he hurried to the podium and he took the mic, and everybody was so excited, and he said, "Don't worry, help is on the way. Help is on the way." And that's what my heart remembers. Help is on the way. When I was there in June, I asked the students, to the person, what would it mean if you walked in here and you had a lab? What would it mean to you if you walked in here and you could test your formula? They teared up when I told them, hold on, help is on the way. Dr. Shawana Tucker Sims, Rhonda Crowder, Dr. Cynthia Carter, sister links across the width and the breadth of the East, and every partner who cares to donate, to believe, to trust the possible, to say, yes, we can. Yes, we can. That distant and difficult, poverty-ridden place, we can rise up as giants in our time. And one day, those same seeds that you planted will bear fruit. And somebody will recognize that for every dollar that's given, that dollar in Libertas, which is their money system, is $200 to one. $200 to one. Now, could we have a better scenario? Earl McLeod's MBA. Earl McLeod is business for betterment. Earl McLeod is accountable. He's a steward of funds. Every dime, the first one, he has his first one, and he's going to have your first one. So every dime that you give will be accounted for. And what else is, we love recognition. Dr. Adam Maslow said that we want to be recognized. It's human. It's human. And artfully, they have created in the East a donor wall. Dr. Carter brilliantly talked about the one at the Smithsonian and how you can walk in and you see your name, your placard, for families, for individuals, for associations, organizations, and groups. Those names. We'll name everything from a chair to the refrigerator to the storage cabinet to the tables. It will make the difference that you pass this way. You helped somebody that couldn't help themselves, and they will pay you. And how will they do it? Because they'll be bright and they'll be learned and they'll be eager to say, appreciate you. Now, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and you've heard me speak, and I often talk about that thank you. We don't say thank you so much here in the South. We say more in Atlanta, we say appreciate you. Appreciate you for all the time that has been taken to bring me to this green table. All the time that has been taken to show the care and the compassion and the concern for children who themselves are waiting and watching for you. They're standing in the incubator of immortality, waiting to rise up as a giant in our time. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for bringing us to the green table so that we can celebrate the possible. That's what's exciting to me. For the first time in my 44 years in LinkedIn, a whole area said, yes, we can. A whole area says, we are not going to just talk about it. It's more than a check on a done, finished task, complete. It means that we will name who and how we are, and we will claim victory for those who would otherwise be denied. Appreciate you. So the African proverb says it best. If you want to go fast, go alone. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to go far, go together. Have you seen them? Mm-hmm. They are the children. They're wide-eyed and eager and anxious. They're at Monrovia College in Monrovia, Liberia. And a STEM lab is waiting. Hold on. Help is on the way. Thank you, Dr. Carter.
And thank you. May I say amen? I have to say, I told you so, and now you know. You know what it is we can do. What is it? How can we in the East, how can we make this happen here and now. Hashtag EA Act Now. You can see on the screen the name and opportunities, but even more so than that, you can uh, see that your name's going to be there, your chapter's name's going to be there forever. Hopefully, one day you'll get a chance to go and see it. We'll send pictures, we'll do all we can so you can feel like a part of it. Donations for the STEM lab, that would be, these labs are the chemistry, biology, physics, and computer labs. All you need to do is jot this down, sign up. You see the link right there, and you can start your journey right there. You're going to be taken to a place called Sign Up Genius. And these are beautiful pages that have been put together by our wonderful program chair and Rhonda Crowder. She's put these together, and each of the items that are needed in these labs have been placed on this page. We got the information from President Russell McLeod. We know exactly what's needed. You can go there. You can decide which items you might like to purchase for these wide-eyed, wonderful children who are our future. Or you may want to give a monetary donation. None too big, none too small. We'll take it all for these children, and you will be recognized, and you will be able to have tax deductible opportunities. Checks made payable to AME Church. As you can see right here, the mailing address is Gwendolyn James, Eastern Area Financial Secretary. You see the address here in Spotsylvania, Virginia. And I'll tell you, we're going to make this information available. It's on the website right now. In-kind donations. You might have some of these items that you want to give. These would be small, packable items. Madam President, I do believe that some ladies, and perhaps some gentlemen too, are coming from time to time from Liberia to Atlanta. Is that correct? President Russell McLeod? I
That
think they're coming, and they might be able to take some of these items back with them. Is this so?
yes, what we have done, Link Sisters and supporters, so that we can ensure our reach, our safe arrivals, our African members are often in Atlanta for meetings or stateside, and we have safely transported computers, monitors, and supplies back to Africa. And they arrive, and we have exact inventory of all donations. So it has been a system that Bishop and I have successfully managed, and they are more than happy to do it because they know that the contributions make the difference for the recipients.
Thank you so much. In addition to that, we're putting together ways of getting other items to the students. We are gathering items, and we will be packing those up, putting them in barrels. We'll be able to get them to the students in an efficient way. So we can tell you more about that. If you have any questions, without delay, please email me at ealinksits@gmail.com. I must take this time to say it is not only me, I am the area ITS chair, but I have a partner who has been absolutely phenomenal. She happens to be on vacation right now. Her name is Constance Moss. We call her Link Connie. And together, we've been working with many of you so that we can get these items moving forward. It was my dear friend Connie who came up with this idea, beer and brew. No, beer and burgers. That's what it is. I hope you can think of various ways that you might be able to put together some fun fundraisers. And I always like to say friend raisers. So now in Buffalo, where Connie Moss lives, she's gone with some other Link sisters, and they've been able to get a restaurant there or a bar to give 10% of everything that they earn on a particular night toward this particular program. So they're going to go and have some burgers and some brews. And my understanding is normally this comes to thousands that they're able to get at that time. But you can think of places that you go. You can maybe think of partners, churches, organizations, friends, other chapters, clusters, Connected Link, because let's go to them too. And these are some of the ways if you maybe save one day of not going to Starbucks, or you could take those funds if you would like and give it toward the future of these young people. So I'm here to tell you that this is a mighty mission that we all have. And some of our wonderful chapters, all of you are, of course, some have already made donations. And we are so proud of those folks who have been able to, in some cases, they've been able to write it into their budgets in their chapters. Others have been individuals making donations, and they're doing it in many different ways. So put your thinking cap on, come up with some fun ideas. We're going to do fundraisers and friend raisers. Many friends will help us get this done. What about shopping? Maybe going, and sometimes stores will give you a certain percentage. We've been able to do that type of thing. So you have one day set aside, and a percentage of sales could also go toward this. So I'm going to now move on, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to think about how you can be helpful in this, and in turn, we're changing lives.
Perfect. Thank
So
you,
now
Dr.
I would
Jacobs
like to
Carter.
know if you have questions. So what I'm going to do is turn the program over to Madam Rhonda Starks Crowder, who has been instrumental in moving this forward. And definitely our wonderful Eastern area director has been fabulous, and she has been so supportive. Link Shawana, I can't tell you how much we love you and how much all of the help that you have given us has meant to us and ITS and throughout the whole East and throughout Linkdom, I might say, in my opinion. That's my opinion. So,
Thank you so
Rhonda,
very
please.
much, Dr. Jacobs Carter. I appreciate everything you've done to date. At this point, we would like to open up the lines for questions. If you have a question, you may voice it at this time. If you are dialing in live with us this evening, you may utilize the hand raising option, and we will take your questions. We'll open up the lines there. Okay, any questions? I know President Russell McLeod was passionate. The pictures told a story that we, Time Nor Agenda, could tell this evening. You've seen everything that's going on in Liberia. You've heard what is needed. You've heard the plea. There is a question. Looks like we have questions coming in, but I am not seeing those questions. Aurelia, I'm not seeing questions. I don't see questions or hands raised. So can you field those questions? Can you open the lines from your end? Because I do not see them on mine.
Yes. We see Karen Clifford with a question. You've been unmuted.
Yes, I wanted to find about the infrastructure. I should say good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
This is Karen Clifford from Delaware Valley, and I wanted to find out about the infrastructure and how that will be up and running by the time these supplies arrive to Liberia.
Thank you. The infrastructure presently is, as you know, schools have boards, and my husband returns to Africa in 2 weeks, and they have been in a very deliberate effort to identify location, location, location. We have within walking distance, less than a block away, a brand new, completely new, fully equipped um, building for our graduate school, the third floor of which is vacant. And that is a site that is being considered for the location of a fully equipped, technologically uh, 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 innovative building. And a second choice, or a not second choice, another choice of land that's already owned by the AMEs is also being considered. I think that his being on the continent will solidify the timelines. We know the goal and objectives, but they have been intentional even in his um, 45-day absence. He's been stateside. It's ongoing. So the infrastructure for the STEM lab will be solidified uh, this semester.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Okay.
thank you. We have the next question from Muriel Grummett. I apologize. Muriel?
What is the deadline to send the money?
I think Rhonda.
The
Yes.
question,
So the question is, what is the deadline to remit funds? We are trying desperately to have as much of the infrastructure ready and all of the hardware in place by July of 2020, because it is our full expectation to begin boots on the ground and virtual programming in the fall. That is not to say that if you send money and or in kind donations that we will not accept them. However, again, we need to have the majority of our items procured by July 2020. Thank you for your question. Aurelia, can you unleash the next question, please?
yes. Link Cynthia, you have a question?
I have a statement. I would like to mention that in pulling all of this together, we've had the wonderful help of a fabulous ITS committee, and they too many of them are on the line, and I want to acknowledge them, if I may. Karen Clifford, Shawnee Waugh, Gloria Smith, Camille Roberts Nwosu. We have Camille Gathers, Diana Williams, and Deborah. And we're so happy to have you. And you're doing respective works in your cities and chapters. So we wanted to let everyone know that it's all hands on deck. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Jacobs Carter, for the shout out to your committee. They are hardworking. Do we have any other questions that are in queue? We want to answer all questions this evening. This is so important. We want you to have the information that you need to help us EA Act now. Are there any other questions in queue?
In the question box, we've received the question, is the program a part of Amazon Smile?
No, it is not.
All right, thank you. The next question is, how often will the items biology, chemistry, physics, and computer be sent to Liberia?
It is most economical that we send the items in batches that takes advantage of our shipping discounts. So as we are able to accumulate a sizable amount for a reasonable shipping fee, we will send those out. Any
Thank
other questions?
Yes, the next question in the box where there's a statement, thank you so much for all of the wonderful information shared and ways to donate. And then the another question for clarification, is one a high school, Monrovia College, and the other a college, AME University?
That
And
is
Yes,
the
correct.
second
That is
question,
correct. And I will have President Russell McLeod to revisit the demographics at each of our two partner schools. President Russell McLeod.
thank you. Monrovia College is uh, actually, I want you to think high school. In Africa, often they reference academies and use the word college for elementary and or middle and or high schools. Monrovia College is a high school of 225 students, and it is a feeder school to AME University, which is a block away. It is 5,000 students, uh, and they graduate about 550 students each commencement. It is the largest college university in all of African Methodism globally. And so it is our real HBCU. But Monrovia College students feed into that university. Thank you for the question.
Perfect. Aurelia, do we have any remaining questions?
yes, the question is, are the schools co-ed or female only?
Both schools are co ed.
Right, thank you. And then the final question is, how will the equipment for the labs be secured?
Can the caller please elaborate on what is meant by secured?
Karen Clifford, I am going to unmute you. Karen Clifford.
Okay. So in the labs, in the schools itself, how are those things going to be secured so that they're not stolen by outside people?
Thank you
Uh,
for your question, President Russell McLeod.
the board, the principal, and the bishop have it is secured by guards. It like any other academic. Uh, we understand the graft, the greed, the crime in any urban area. It's very urban, but it is also under lock and key, and the shipments now go to the First Church of Monrovia, Liberia, and the senior pastor, Reverend Alvin Atta, is extraordinarily competent, accountable, and is the executive assistant to Bishop McLeod. So all contributions are inventoried, locked, and kept secure by at the First Church. So we know exactly what's there, when, where, and it is under guard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I believe that empties the queue of questions. I'm going to push forward to our members of the Eastern area, our friends, our family, our colleagues that have joined us this evening. This is a direct call for action. It doesn't get any clearer. It doesn't get any more serious than this. We have an opportunity before us to excite, to engage, and to educate students across the miles. As mentioned again, as Nelson Mandela rightly said, for Africans, it was not lack of ability that limited my people, but lack of opportunity. We ask in the spirit of Nelson Mandela that you join us in creating an opportunity for students abroad by investing in education across the miles by linking with West Africa. I ask personally, with the same grit and fidelity that Rihanna cited recently during her NAACP Image Award speech, and I quote, if there is anything that I've learned, it's that we can't fix this world, that we can fix this world together. We can't do it divided. I can't emphasize this enough. She went on to instruct us to encourage our friends of other races to pull up. But let's be honest, before we can expect anyone else to pull up, we have to step up. President Russell McLeod, you have ignited me to step up, to dig deeper, to extend higher. I could not allow this evening or opportunity to pass me by without stepping up. So, on behalf of my Mr., my connecting link, my Dr. K. Paul Crowder, we are honored to present you with our contribution this evening in the amount of $2,000.
Oh
Ooh.
my. Thank you,
So,
Rhonda.
this is our check. I will be putting it in the mail, $2,000. To our audience, as they say, the doors of the church, or in this case, Monrovia College and AME University, and hopefully the doors to your heads and your hearts are also open. There are no gifts too large, there are no gifts too small. This is an opportunity. This is a call for EA to act now. Those joining by phone, you can text your pledge tonight to 302 463 7298. Repeating 302 463 7298. You can log on to our website, and I'll ask our technology chair to put the slide back up with the instructions detailing the website, the mailing address, and the location of www.ealinks.org of our website, where you can remit by PayPal or you can write us a check, which is what I just did. Those joining by live feed, you can raise your hand using the chat feature to be acknowledged if you would like to make your donation tonight, or if you would like to be acknowledged for previous donations. And we've had several of our Link sisters, we've had several chapters that have stepped up and pulled up. Those chapters are Greater Hudson Valley, New York chapter, Arlington, Virginia chapter. We've had Delaware Valley, Karen Clifford. We've had Wilmington, Delaware chapter. We've had Teresa Knox, Blanche Jackson, Shani Waugh, and Karina Buchanalfa. These ladies and these chapters have stepped up, and it looks like more are stepping up. I just received text messages coming in. Let's see. This is exciting. This is like one of the telethons. So we've got a text message that was just received from Rhoda McKinney Jones, our national chair of writers from Pentown, Pennsylvania chapter. And she writes, my husband and I pledge and match your $2,000 gift of the heart. So we just received another donation of $2,000. I'm excited by the project and the works that support Pat Russell McLeod's initiative, Education Across the Miles. I am happy to link with West Africa, and we are happy to take your check in the amount of $2,000. We thank you so very much, Rhoda McKinney Jones and Connecting Link Sam Jones, for your donation. I just received another text. This one comes from Dr. Joan Coker, president of the Wilmington, Delaware chapter, who has pledged $500. Thank you, Dr. Coker, on behalf of the Wilmington, Delaware chapter, who also previously contributed $200. Dr. Coker has pledged a personal donation of $500. Thank you so very much for linking with West Africa. We're adding that to our pledge board. I have just received another text. This one comes from Melva Ware. Melva Ware from the Girlfriends chapter of Philadelphia. She has pledged $100 and she has let me know that she's already paid. She has stepped up. Thank you so very much for your donation. I have another text that just came in. This one is from Barbara Martin. She is our Eastern Area HBCU co-chair. She has pledged a $60 pledge. Ladies, I am overjoyed. Thank you so very much for these donations. I thought I heard someone else. Aurelia, are you indicating that you've heard? I just got another text. This one is coming from Dr. Velma Scattleberry from the Wilmington, Delaware chapter. She is our nation's first African American and African American female transplantation surgeon of the world. And she
Lord.
has just pledged $500. Thank you so very much. My home chapter, my peeps are doing me proud. Another $500 from Velma Scoutleberry. Dr. Scoutleberry, we thank you so very much for your generosity. We together are creating bright futures. Thank you so much. We have another text that has just come in. This one is coming from Dr. Jacobs Carter and Connecting Link Carl Carter for $200. Thank you very much, my sister. We will take your $200 with appreciation. My text, I don't think I ever got this many text messages in one night. Thank you so very much for this. Stay with me, Sister Links. I'm trying, or everyone on the line, I'm trying to get through all of the text messages that are coming in. And here we go. Marcella Maxwell, $1,000 pledge. Everyone knows our queen, our madam of the Eastern area. Dr. Maxwell has made a pledge of $1,000. $1,000. Thank you so very much, Dr. Maxwell, for your generosity. We are creating bright futures today in the East. The Eastern area is not just talking about it, we are about it. Help is indeed not on the way, help has arrived. Is there anyone else who would like to make a donation at this time? Of course, you know that we will be accepting donations throughout, but if there's an opportunity tonight, if there's anyone who would like to make a donation, now is the time. Okay, I just got another text message. Let's see what's just come in. Okay. Wilma Mishu, Dr. Mishu. Dr. Mishu has pledged $2,000 on behalf of the Dover, Delaware chapter. $2,000 on behalf of the Dover, Delaware chapter, and another $300 in a personal donation for a total of $2,300 coming out of the southern part of Delaware, led by our link sister, Dr. Wilma Mishu, immediate past president of Delaware State University. Thank you, my sister. We have another donation that's just come in from our Eastern Area parliamentarian, Cynthia Gresham. I call her auntie. She has just contributed $100. Thank you so very much. We have another donation that just, I don't know if you all can hear this. These pings are coming in. There is a $200 donation from Sherry Amato. She's everything actually. She's a program coordinator. She's on the STEM team. Our link sister out of Connecticut, $200 donation. I hope I'm a STEM professional and I'm no longer able to keep up with the donations. They're coming in so heavily in terms of adding up all of this evening's pledges, but what I can tell you is this. We've got two $2,000 pledges, a $60, $100, two $500, another $1,000, $200, $60. I just received another text. Bear with me, everyone. Beverly Ledbetter. This
My
is
bevy.
our Eastern Area Ethics and Standards Chair has just pledged $1,000, a personal pledge of $1,000. Link Beverly, thank you. I thank
My
you.
bevy.
There's just no words. $1,000 pledge. I hope somebody was doing the math as these came in because I have lost track. I know that we have well over $12,000 here this evening. I'm still getting pledges coming in. A sister out of the Brooklyn chapter, Dr. Abercrombie, has just pledged $100. This is one of our sisters out of the Brooklyn chapter. We thank you for your personal contribution of $100. Link sisters, Link sisters, this has been an amazing, an amazing
Hmm.
evening.
Hmm.
President Russell McLeod, this evening you took a step away from your speaking engagements and your hectic travel schedule to give voice to the critical need for the Eastern area to act now. You've debunked many of the common misgivings and misunderstandings surrounding STEM education in our motherland, specifically Liberia. You've raised our level of consciousness and awareness. And in your words, we simply offer, we appreciate you. And I would like for you to tell your students that help has arrived.
Hmm.
Dr. Jacobs Carter, thank you for your enthusiasm in which you lead. Your zeal and leadership is multiplied in abundance by your committee members. Thank you for your
Thank
important
you.
contributions to date and also those forthcoming in the days ahead. To
Thank
Madam
you.
Director, thank you for your vision towards creating a cohesive and tangible relationship with AME University and Monrovia College's students of promise and of purpose, who will be so richly impacted by our efforts for generations to come. But I also thank you for the opportunity and gift that has allowed me, as the Eastern Area Program Chair, to create, shape, and lead such a transformational program for the Eastern area. The floor is yours to gift us with your closing remarks. Madam Director.
My eyes are filled with
Hmm.
water. I am so touched by all of this. And in my closing remarks, I would like to say to my sisters and friends, I thank you for joining us this evening. Rhonda, Cynthia, Aurelia, and members of the Eastern Area Leadership Team, I thank you. Our 11th National President, Link Patricia Russell McLeod, we thank you for sharing the experiences of the students in Liberia, sharing the needs and the ask. The East has heeded the call.
Hmm.
It is our tradition that when we have and host our Green Table Talks, that our presenters are given a token of appreciation. President Pat, on behalf of the Eastern Area and the International Trends Facet, a donation of $1,000 is being presented this evening for this initiative.
Thank you.
Another donation on behalf of my husband, Connecting Link John Sims, and myself, and together. Will. Hello. Hello?
Madam Director, we can hear
Yes.
you. We can hear you.
Okay. I was closing by saying continued blessings to you, President Pat and Bishop, and we look forward to our continued work together because, yes, we can, and we've proven tonight that, yes, we will. Thank you all for joining our Green Table Talk this evening, my sisters and friends. Have a good night.
Any other thoughts about the website? But are there any other thoughts?